Hi, I'm going to be talking about best uses of artificial intelligence for education. This is presented for educators by an educator. My name is Dr. Messina Morris, and I'm an award-winning expert in education, XR, and AI. I created the world's first metaversity at Morehouse College, and am currently the director of metaverse programs there. I am also a professor of practice in the Division of Professional and Continuing Studies. I'm also a founder and CEO of my own company, helping people find where they belong in the metaverse called Metaverse United. So, I want to talk about teaching with AI. It is transformative because it allows for innovative technology to help enhance inclusivity and empower educators to help embrace creativity in their own teaching practices. It's done that for me and several other educators that I've trained. And it matters because you can actually transform your teaching by reducing routine tasks effectively. So, a lot of educators face grading fatigue, which impacts their ability to support students. They also need to be able to provide personalized feedback for every student, and that can be arduous. And AI also allows teachers to be more creative, where they can then enhance the learning experience for students. Transforming assessment methods is one way that AI can be used, and it can be done in a way that allows you to streamline your grading and evaluation process. It gives you the ability to actually focus on the feedback from the students, to take that information and use it to differentiate instruction. So this is a way that I've used ChatGPT during my time as an educator in the education department to help me with grading fatigue of lots of essays, to help me keep a fair and unbiased way of grading lots and lots of essays, and to help give students better feedback. It also allowed me to help revise grading for neurodivergent students. So the prompt you see here says create a midterm essay exam that incorporates the particular documentary that I had them watch. The essay should incorporate the use of generative AI to get the assignment done. It should also have a rubric scoring to 100 percentage points. This is a college level midterm essay assignment. It should not take them more than 1.5 hours to do. It is for the following course. And then I said to please grade the following essay once I got the essays back from the students. So it gave me a rubric that was out of 100 percentage points. I changed whatever I needed to change, updated it, kept iterating, but it gave me something that I felt like was fair and honest and in alignment with what I'm looking for. And then I asked it to please grade the following essay based on the aforementioned rubric. And so it went back and actually graded the essays for me. So I just uploaded their essays with no identifying information, mind you, just the essays themselves, the text, and then had it graded. And then I had a student that I knew had dyslexia, and I had them regrade his essay, taking into account that he has dyslexia as a disability, and it gave me better feedback for him as well. AI can empower accessibility. It can enhance the learning experiences for students who may be impaired, whether cognitively or actually physically, with different disabilities. So, AI tools actually transform accessibility in education. One of the ways that I found it to be useful is to create alt text for vision impaired students. And so this particular chat allowed for me to create an alt text description for images to help vision impaired students. So the prompt was to upload an image and then to give me a description of the following image so that I can use it as alt text for a person with visual impairment. So, take for instance this particular photo. The prompt was to create alt text for a visually impaired student for this particular image. The response that I got back from ChatGPT after uploading it was this beautiful response. A digitally illustrated young black girl with deep brown skin, large expressive eyes, and long black dreadlocks tied into two high buns, wearing blue rimmed glasses and a white headband. She sits at a desk with a computer, keyboard, and mouse in front of her, flanked by stacked books. She wears a bright blue collared shirt with a yellow school crest and has a white backpack over her shoulders. Behind her is a glowing earth surrounded by stars, DNA strands, and floating planets, creating a science and technology theme. The image is framed with a purple border. So that is the response that ChatGPT gave me back as alt text. Now, interestingly enough, some programs make it where you can't put in more than 250 characters of alt text. So when I went in to put in the alternative text, they also have on Canva an alternative where you can get suggestions for alt text. Well, the alt text that it gave me was the reason why we want to try to come up with better ways to create alt text. Is it said an image of a girl sitting at a desk with a globe in the background, which it doesn't give a lot of information for visually impaired people to really be in the scene. And since I teach a lot in virtual reality, I had a blind student actually ask me, how could I make it where the scenery was something that was more exciting and engaging other than them hearing this is a PNG or this is a PDF or this is just an image of a girl sitting at a desk with a globe in the background, because they wanted to actually experience the environment. So after asking ChatGPT to revise the prompt, I said for it to make the alt text 250 characters. And so it came back with a young black girl with dreadlocks, in two buns, blue glasses, and a white headband, sits at a desk with a computer, books, and a mouse, wearing a blue shirt with a yellow crest. She is framed by glowing earth, DNA strands, planets, and stars in a science theme. And I was able to upload that, and that is behind this particular text in the presentation. Now, representation is really important in the education process. Students want to know that they are seen, heard, and actually being taught taught something because you are interested in them. And so AI allows for you to include different learning styles because representation matters, to have dynamic pedagogical tools because it will enhance student engagement, and to provide collaborative learning environments that foster teamwork and inclusion. One of the things that I did for my son, and for showed my class, I taught exceptional ed in the classroom, and so we use a lot of technology to differentiate instruction and to get students involved. But one of the things that I saw with my son, who is on the autism spectrum, is that he could not really learn from the social stories because they did not actually look like him or embody him. So I was able to generate images that resembled him. So I uploaded his image and asked it to create visual cards for this story with Seth's character, and uploaded the image, and then used the main character in the likeness of blah, 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 whoever the character is, and to recreate the story. And so I created these visual cue cards for him to be able to use at school and send them to school, so that when he needs to communicate how he feels or his emotions, he can, and it's in his likeness. So you can see a picture of his logo that I uploaded from online that is also represented in there. So he understands that that is him. It also looks like him, has glasses like him, has dimples like him, and all the things. So these images allowed me to be able to include him in understanding his emotions and his feelings, so that even though he's limited in how he verbally expresses himself, he's able to use these to say, hey, this is where I am, this is where I am, this is how I feel, and I need to take a break. I've also used it to illustrate social stories or to illustrate books that actually give emphasis in areas that do not currently exist. So, take for instance this particular slide. The prompt was to create a Morehouse College student who is meditating in VR with a Morehouse t-shirt on in maroon and white. And this student is using the MetaQuest 3 and engaged in an ethereal scene. He is on a meditation pillow in his college dorm room. So you see this young man who is doing exactly what the prompt asked for it to do. So I created this particular prompt because we do meditation in at Morehouse. We do mindfulness meditation on Mondays, and so I wanted to use something that they could relate to. But there are not a lot of stock photos of young Black men at HBCUs using technology, much less using anything like virtual reality. So I decided that I would use ChatGPT and Dolly to create the images that were more inclusive and in the likeness of the student population and demographics that I teach. You can also co-create with AI, like using it for lesson planning, use it to create engaging visuals, and to create inclusivity through your classroom design and how you design things in education. So one of the ways that I help it use me is with administrative tasks, right? So just lightening the workload as an educator. So I have a emails folder in projects, and it actually helps me to answer my emails to my colleagues, to people who write me in my own warm, enthusiastic voice to help me stay consistent and professional in how I answer my emails. So one of the things I put in there, because it asks what characteristics did you want in this project? How did you want it to respond, or how did you want it to act? And I told it to act as my executive communications assistant and to please write a professional, compassionate, and warm response to the following email. And then use a tone that is kind and empathetic, because that's who I am. Eager to help or collaborate, because I'm always really eager to help out in any way. Respectful of others' times as well as their concerns. So take into account what is being said and make sure that I respond to those concerns as well. Polished and articulate, reflecting a high level of expertise. And I want to maintain strong relationships even when I'm setting a boundary, asking for more time, or saying no. Help me sound emotionally intelligent, gracious, and human. When appropriate, affirm their messages, acknowledge effort or feelings, and provide helpful next steps or support. Please keep it short, sincere, and solution oriented. Close the message with the warmth, encouragement, or gratitude, and sign any email responses as blessings, Dr. Messina Morris, speaker, professor, innovative futurist, chemist, author, because that's how I sign my emails. And so it's very easy to just copy paste what they wrote, or to edit it if necessary in the email and then send it on. These are some quotes from professors around the world that just I wanted to add because I felt like it was really important. A couple of these professors are super users as part of Tennessee State University's super user group, and they sent me these quotes about AI, and I told them that I wanted to use it so that their voices are also being heard. So Dr. Mary Beal says that AI is a tool that she encourages to help reinforce the knowledge her students may have missed during lecture, and she teaches biology. Dr. Stephen Onakuli, he says that engage, empower, enforce is the use of AI to enlighten and elevate critical thinking, development, and innovation, and to forge the future. I always tell people that human intelligence created artificial intelligence, and so they should never be afraid to incorporate something in which they have the power to give the right input so it gives you the best output. And Michael Chen says AI empowers students to take charge of their learning journey. So those are just some quotes. And I thank you so much for listening to best uses of how AI is being used by me as an educator, and how it can be used for you. Thank you.